Syngenta Crop Protection Canada and C&M Seeds present the Wheat School on RealAgriculture.com. So Scott, I've been reading lots about cereal leaf beetle. That's a pest that probably a lot of us aren't too familiar with. What is this pest?
So this is a beetle. It's found its way into Alberta, probably from Montana.
So we can blame it on the U.S. then?
We'll blame it on the U.S. this time. It could have come across from British Columbia. It also occurs in British Columbia as well. It first showed up here in 2005. It's the larval stage that causes us trouble. The larval stage is it looks like a little slug, and it just eats the surface of the leaves off. And it's very similar to a disease. Once that productive surface of the leaf is gone, then your yields are affected. So that's what it does. So
it's impacting like flag is a bad time, or when is the real impact?
Yeah, it's very similar to diseases actually. We're concerned about damage on the penultimate and the flag leaf. And that's when the larval stage shows up and gets really feeding, is right when the crop gets into that stage. So again, we have to be watching at that flag leaf stage.
How do we do? Can we spray for it?
Yeah, there are registered controls. I guess the reason why we're concerned about it, it's new and people aren't used to it. So we'll just have to be watching for it. And last year we had our first fields in the Tabor area were sprayed for cereal leaf beetle. So that's brand new in Alberta that we're actually having to spray for.
And what is how bad is it? What's the potential impact?
Well, the potential impact is similar to diseases, like the 20-30% yield losses if they're really bad. But it's going to be so obvious if they're at that level. There's just going to be one or two on every leaf.
So when it impacts a field, is it patchy or does it spread? Is it pretty consistent through the field?
What we're likely to see, especially early on in this early infestations, is an edge effect. So we're going to see more on the edge of the field, and then they'll taper off as
almost like how sawfly used to be.
Exactly, like how sawfly often was. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess how far north is it moving?
Well, Dr. Lloyd Doswell has been doing the surveys for it, and we're seeing it now up into the Three Hills area on the south side, over to Drumheller, and now they found it in Saskatchewan, and it's also found in Manitoba as well. So, but it hasn't really moved much north of Highway 1.
And so what kind of conditions does it really like?
It doesn't seem to have particular climatic conditions that it seems to do well. It's done well through all the years since 2005. It's shown up, so it seems to be hanging on through all of that.
And so if we were going to identify it in the field, can we actually identify the beetle in the field? Or?
Yeah, the beetle's very distinctive actually. It's a black and orange beetle. There's only a few beetles that are about 3/16 of an inch long that are black and orange. This one is very distinctive, so yeah, it's quite easy to identify. The larvae look like slugs. They sit on the leaf like a slug, and they actually feed along the leaf like a slug. So first thing you're going to say is, I have slugs in my field. And you're going to see the feeding. Actually, probably the very first thing you'll see is the feeding.
Okay, thanks a lot, Scott.
Good.